this homecoming convocation and Alumni Association Award ceremony. My name is Jesse Horn. I'm the class of 2007, and I'm the current president of the Colorado College Alumni Association. Last year, I celebrated my 10th reunion at CC, and it was absolutely wonderful. And so I'm really excited, and I was excited at the time to connect with classmates and fellow alumni for that homecoming weekend. Similarly, I hope that you will make the most of being on campus this weekend as you reconnect with old friends and make some new ones. If you've been to homecoming convocation before, I think you would agree that this celebration and this ceremony is a hallmark event during which we celebrate our people, our place, and our program. CC exposes us to the liberal arts and gives us the tools to craft our own journeys. Excuse me, I just lost my place. As you will hear from each of our awardees today, each of them is going to have an opportunity to give remarks. And new this year, we welcome you to join us for a continued discussion of their experiences, moderated by Professor Stephen Hayward over in the Cornerstone Screening Room. Professor Hayward has been busy working on a film celebrating the block plan's 50th anniversary, which is coming up in 2020. Professor Hayward has spent countless hours interviewing our courageous and innovative block plan founders and others. This discussion with our awardees will whet our appetite for events to come in celebration of our block plan. Now, in a few minutes, we will get to hear from President Tiefenthaler about the status of our beloved alma mater, and we get to celebrate the accomplishments and contributions of our awardees. But before we do that, I would like to ask Eric Mellon, class of 1990, the immediate past president of the Colorado College Alumni Association, and our resident tenor, to lead us in the celebratory tradition of singing America the Beautiful, written by Catherine Lee Bates and inspired by the Purple Mountain majesty that is Pikes Peak. If everyone will stand, and please join Eric in singing along.
The accompaniment. Are we going to do this a cappella? I hadn't planned on that, but...
Skies, for amber waves of grace.
It is my pleasure to introduce President Jill Tiefenthaler, Colorado College's 13th president. Now in her 8th year as president, Jill is leading the implementation of our strategic plan, Building on the Block, as well as CC's most ambitious fundraising campaign to date, Building on Originality. Please join me in welcoming our president, Jill Tiefenthaler.
Please be seated, everyone. And how about that voice? Let's give Eric a round of applause. Thank you, Eric. Welcome back. It's wonderful to have you at homecoming. I want to thank Jesse and Eric, and I'm glad to see you all here with us. Your presence on campus is a great reminder to our students of the wonderful lifelong community that they will have as alumni of Colorado College. Seeing you connect and reconnect over this weekend makes this weekend really special for all of us. Whether you're meeting with former classmates or favorite professors, cheering on the Tigers, or introducing your children or grandchildren to Colorado College, we hope our students will one day follow in your footsteps. We hope they build lives of meaning and form connections to CC that enrich them personally and professionally throughout their lives. 11 classes are celebrating a reunion this year, and planning for reunions begins early with alumni volunteers building events and setting goals for attendance and reunion gifts. Volunteers have put in countless hours to make reunions possible. Their work has been vital to supporting our campaign. More than 900 alumni are on campus celebrating a reunion this year, and more than 1,450 alumni have participated in their class gifts, so far raising nearly $5 million for Colorado College in the campaign. We cannot thank our volunteers enough, but let's give them a big round of applause. Thank you. And now I'm very happy to present the Reunion Cup to the class with the highest percentage of reunion attendees. This year's winning class had 31% of their members return for homecoming. Congratulations to the class of 1968. Will your representatives please come forward and accept the cup? No drinking out of it tonight. All right. Yesterday, the class of 1968 was also inducted into the Colorado College 50-Year Club. More than 111 members of this distinguished class were on campus, and you can spot them by the medallions that they're wearing. Nearly 42% of their members are participating in their class gift effort, and so far they've raised $2.4 million, and their goal is to create 10 new scholarships. Please join me again in recognizing and thanking the great class of 1968. And thanks to all of you who have been enthusiastic supporters of our Building on Originality campaign, which we publicly launched last year at homecoming. It's CC's most ambitious campaign, and so far more than 40% of our alumni body have participated, raising $336 million toward our $435 million goal. Thank you. And this fall semester at CC is off to a great start. It's an exciting time of year when students arrive and we welcome their family and friends, and now alumni to campus. Lots is going on. We've been busy on campus and off, and I'm glad for this opportunity to share some of the highlights of this work. We saw many of you this year, over the past year, in your home cities. The CC Across the Country event series brought students, faculty, and staff to San Francisco, New York, Chicago, and Denver to provide updates on the college and demonstrate the impact and the relevance of the block plan and CC's liberal arts education. Hundreds of Colorado College alumni joined us in celebrating CC and connecting with the college, and I want to thank all of you who welcomed us to your cities. Last fall, we rededicated the renovated Charles L. Tutt Library. If you haven't seen it yet, I hope that you'll take time to walk through sometime this weekend. It's the largest carbon-neutral, net-zero energy academic library in the country. It has twice as many seats as before and nearly 1,900 visitors every day. I told the parents when they were here that if their students said they were in the library, it was actually probably true. Our students love it, and it has become the intellectual hub of our campus. You may want to also stop by and see the renovation of our gem, Cutler Hall. Cutler's infrastructure needed significant updating, and we took the opportunity to renovate the whole building this past summer, and now has wonderful spaces to greet the thousands and tens of thousands of visitors that come for admissions every year. Our alliance with the Fine Arts Center has brought a wealth of new opportunities for faculty and students in their courses, research, and extracurricular activities, using the FAC's incredible resources in visual and performing arts and the museum collection. In addition, community attendance at the Fine Arts Center has greatly increased through reduced general admission fees, expanded hours, additional museum free days each month, and programs specifically focused for school children and their teachers here in the Colorado Springs community. We've also continued to implement our strategic plan, Building on the Block, and have added a new recommendation, Connect the CC Experience, which aims to help students build connections across CC's diverse communities and disciplines and through academic and co-curricular experiences. By helping students connect with our alumni network of parents, as well as parents and friends, they will better link their educations to their post-CC life. Other important work going on is improving diversity at the college and working toward inclusive excellence. I hope you'll help in that effort. Our director of the Butler Center, Dr. Paul Buckley, will visit New York City on November 13th to hold conversations with alumni about the importance of diversity and inclusion in providing an excellent liberal arts education. And this afternoon, from 3:30 to 5:30, you're welcome to a Butler Center open house on the second floor of the campus, Warner Campus Center. In other campus news, we're very excited to partner with the City of Colorado Springs on the Edward J. Robeson Arena. Originally, we envisioned this facility as a practice arena for CC Tiger hockey, but now we are planning it as an on-campus competition arena. Thanks to the generosity of donors, including Ed Robeson, class of 1954, and others, and a special public-private partnership with the City of Colorado Springs and the City for Champions initiative, this project will benefit our entire campus, our Division I hockey team, our club and intramural teams, our figure skaters, and will also provide an indoor gathering place for campus events. You may also heard that Alan Townsend has joined Colorado College in June as our first provost. In this role, Alan is the college's chief academic officer and has strategic responsibilities that span the entire institution. He's a professor of environmental science and internationally prominent scientist who studies ecosystems and climate change. He'll be teaching his first block at CC in Block 3, and we're thrilled to have Alan on board. Alan, you want to give a quick wave? He's over here if you want to talk to him later. Alan, welcome. I could talk for many hours about all the things happening on campus. Instead, I just give you a quick preview of events we're bringing to you in person and virtually. And I hope you'll think about how you can stay involved, engaged, and active in the alumni community. Alumni, parents, and friends will continue to crisscross the globe on block break, away travel adventures with CC faculty and alumni experts. Next week, a group of alumni are joining Mark Smith, professor of economics and business, on Great Trains and Grand Canyons. Professor Smith will share his knowledge and expertise about water in the West. There are a number of great trips scheduled in upcoming years, including a tour of the California Wine Company, an Andean birding excursion, and a trip to Antarctica to see a solar eclipse. Pick which one of those, it's tough. We're showcasing new ideas from and for the CC community at Tiger Talks Beyond the Boundaries in Denver on October 24th. We held the first of these TED-style events back in January, and it's one of our most popular alumni events. Our goal is to build a repository of these stories to share online so that all those unable to attend can also see them. Alumni are also making an incredible difference for our students in career. Many are participating in Tiger Treks, which brings students together with successful alums in a particular city and in a variety of fields. Next week, Tiger Trek will take CC students to Chicago, where they'll meet alumni working in business, finance, and consulting. And through the CC Alumni Climate Forum, we're establishing a network of CC professionals who work in the field of sustainability. On November 8th, a panel of CC alumni will gather in Denver, and the forum has already traveled to San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and New York with future plans to go to Seattle and Boston as well. You can learn more about these events and many more on the CC website, or look for news of events on the CC Alumni Facebook pages. If you're interested in connecting with alumni for professional networking or helping a student do the same, I really encourage you to check out TigerLink, our online mentoring platform. Thank you for coming home to Colorado College this weekend. CC made a positive and lasting impact on your life, and you continue to give back in many ways. Together, we can make sure that our students today continue to receive an excellent education and experience CC as the special and original place you knew. Welcome back.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the presentation of the Homecoming Convocation Awards. I am Susan White Bergamy, class of 1966, and chair of the Alumni Association's Nominations and Awards Committee. This awards presentation is one highlight of Homecoming Weekend, as we recognize extraordinarily accomplished members of the Colorado College community who have exemplified the important values of our college. Each of our award winners is profiled in your Convocation program, and we encourage you to read about them. This morning, we are going to share some more personal insights with you. This year's awardees are joining a distinguished group of previous recipients of these awards, whose names are listed in your program. We are pleased to have some of these honorees with us today. Will you please stand and be recognized? This year we have two recipients of the Lloyd E. Benezet Award. Will D'Ann Campbell, class of 1972, please come forward? The Lloyd E. Benezet Award recognizes outstanding achievement in one's chosen field, excellence through unusual success or contribution, innovation, or research that has advanced a profession or a cause, and/or extraordinary contributions and achievements that have impacted people's lives and exemplify the values of a liberal arts education. These attributes characterize the important contributions of the late Lloyd E. Benezet, President of Colorado College from 1955 to 1963. The definition of the word pioneer as a noun is a person who is among the first to explore or settle a new country or area. Synonyms include frontierswoman, trailblazer, bushwhacker. The definition as a verb is develop or be the first to use or apply a new method, area of knowledge, or activity. Synonyms include introduce, initiate, spearhead, create, set in motion. It would seem that the word pioneer can be appropriately applied to D'Ann, both as a noun and as a verb. She is also a woman of firsts, as you will see when you read about her in your program. D'Ann is a Colorado native whose family roots go back 4 generations. There are several CC alums in her extended family. While at Colorado College, she served as the student member of the committee to design and implement the block plan, which at that time was creating an experimental and pioneering approach to higher education. As a professor and administrator, she has worked on programs to assist women faculty, staff, and students in higher education. Her nominator shared that while at Indiana University, she did the first national survey of sexual harassment guidelines and produced a videotape on sexual harassment from the victim's viewpoint. With an award from the National Endowment for the Humanities, she facilitated a gathering of women from dozens of professional associations to discuss the impending Equal Rights Amendment and the ERA boycott strategy being adopted by many groups in 1978-79. Her arguments were later used by the National Organization of Women as an amicus curiae brief. Her work at 3 service academies, the U.S. Military Academy West Point, the U.S. Coast Guard Academy, and the U.S. Air Force Academy, has encompassed not only the teaching of military history and U.S. history, but has also focused on sensitivity training for faculty and staff to address diversity and to create an inclusive and supportive classroom to enhance learning. This work first began in 1989 at a time when the military was not fully integrated with women and represents another pioneering effort and accomplishment. D'Ann shared that CC gave her something to be able to do the hard work she has done in the male-dominated military. She has been a pioneer in the field of women's history, especially women in the military. The Alumni Association is proud to present the Lloyd T. Benezet Award to D'Ann Campbell.
Many thanks to the Benezet Selection Committee and to my family for help and support today. As a sophomore, I transferred to help CC create and adopt the block plan since I had been in an experimental program at Boulder my freshman year. I soon worked closely with Dean George Drake as I had a work-study job in his office, I babysat his children, and I served as the student member of the block plan committee. Drake demonstrated how energetic, creative, and supportive a dean could be. This experience certainly helped me gain the confidence to go into administration, which was not a recognized career path for women in those days. I later became the youngest full dean in the country with a focus on helping women move up in terms of faculty and administration. My first priority was to hire a woman to be dean of Indiana's major academic library. Second, when my advisor, Dr. Lou Geiger, learned that I wanted to go to graduate school in history, he had me take classes in every other possible discipline. It turned out that history was soon borrowing from many disciplines. History was pioneering in the humanities and using computers and statistics and opening up new fields such as social and demographic history. No field was more vibrant in the 1970s than women's history. At graduate school in North Carolina, my advisor, George Mowry, encouraged me to select for a dissertation, Women in Warfare, a completely new field and one for which I had the background and the interest. Third, Dr. Dennis Showalter, who's here today, a military historian at CC, had paved the way for my research interest and love for being a professor when he allowed me to serve as his unofficial, unpaid TA. I love teaching and learning from a master who modeled diversity and inclusivity in the classroom. I later learned that it's rare to find a scholar like Showalter who reads a book a day and enlightens both scholarly and popular audiences with his dozens of books and articles. Next month, Showalter will be given the Pritzker Award for his outstanding contributions to military history. That honors his publication, but I think his main contribution is to the thousands of undergraduates and faculty like me who have been helped by him in researching and writing their books and articles. The CC idea of dramatic innovation as expressed in the block plan energized my career. Old, staid methods were not locked in stone. CC's courage to innovate gave me the inspiration to set up diversity and inclusivity workshops and to train faculty at West Point and recently down the street here at U.S. Air Force Academy. My advice to CC is to keep innovating, keep breaking down old stereotypes and harmful barriers. Thank you.
Will Charles Chip Collins, class of 1977, please come forward? Chip's father grew up in Colorado Springs, but until Chip came to visit Colorado College, he had never been here. He was pleased to have the opportunity to explore his father's roots and to experience a school which was very different from the prep school he had attended in Massachusetts. He said he felt at home. He shared many memorable outdoor experiences with his friends, going to mountain towns, climbing in the mountains, running, biking, cross-country skiing, all ways to explore the stunning outdoors available. He spent time with people who were leaders in Colorado Springs and Denver while studying with a faculty he called outstanding. Chip was profiled in a Faces of Innovation feature, where he said that CC was a starting point for him as he developed his views around innovation and possibilities. Coming west opened up to him a broad swath of things that he could do. Another fit for Chip was the block plan, which translated well into his professional career in conservation, where he has worked to protect wildlife, fish, and birds. He commented that in conservation, one needs to assemble and pursue large projects. The intensity of the block plan prepared him well for what often became long, drawn-out, and large projects where he could throw his energies into the efforts over long periods of time. Part of his work pertaining to the preservation and sustainability of forest lands has encompassed educating people about forests and forest management and supporting scientific research projects involving trees, forests, and other natural resources. He continues to have a deep love for the West and its prairies, mountains, and rivers. When I spoke to Chip to tell him about the Benezet Award, he told me that Colorado College fundamentally changed his life. It launched him and gave him the confidence to go ahead and try something new. He was a history major. After graduation, he was hired by the Nature Conservancy, having no previous experience. He took that foundational experience to other jobs across the country and to other countries in the Western Hemisphere. Chip has remained connected to the college through his many friends, and he has co-hosted CC events in the Boston area. He continues to have deep respect for the faculty and administration at CC. The Alumni Association is proud to present the Lloyd E. Benezet Award to Chip Collins. You're welcome.
I think she may just have given my speech, so I'm not sure what I'm going to say exactly. Thank you, Colorado College, for this incredible award. I'm just deeply honored and flattered to receive this recognition. You've made my year for me. As she just said, when I first came to Colorado Springs, even though my father had grown up here, it was the summer before my senior year in high school. And I looked at the school and I was just, decided to apply. I loved it from the outset, and I was overjoyed when I was accepted. I loved the time I spent at CC. The academics were outstanding, the block plan worked, and I really do believe that it provided the basis for how I pursued my conservation career afterwards. Of course, it goes without saying that one of the most important things that came out of my time was meeting my future wife. And Charles. After I graduated from CC, I happily was able to work in the nonprofit conservation field with probably 4 different organizations over about just under a 20-year period. And then in the mid-1990s, I co-founded a private equity firm that invested in large tracts of timberland. It was called the Forest Land Group. And we originally bought land, it was all natural hardwood forests in the eastern United States. We own land in 27 states, I think, actually. And then we moved down to Central America and owned land in Belize, Costa Rica, and Panama. We were the first timberland investment group to sustainably certify the entire company. And eventually, we became one of the largest timberland owners in the United States. We owned over 3 million acres of land, which is not something we ever thought was going to happen when that started. So I credit Colorado College with giving me the confidence that I needed to explore and tackle the challenges that I faced in my professional career. I had great respect for professors such as Tom K. Barton, Glenn Brooks and Dennis Showalter, who's here with us today, and many others who all played key roles in instilling in me the curiosity and the grit that I needed to pursue my career and my life. So thank you, CC, for everything that you've done. It's been just a fantastic time, and my commitment to you as an institution continues to this day. Thank you very much.
Will Artie Kensinger, class of 1953, please come forward? The Lloyd E. Warner Award recognizes outstanding loyalty, service, and generosity to the college, as evidenced by continuing concern and support for students and the quality of teaching and learning, as well as the general well-being and future excellence of the institution. These attributes characterize the many years of service and effective contributions of Lloyd E. Warner, class of 1942, who served as faculty member, dean, and ultimately president of Colorado College from 1964 to 1981. Artie grew up in Los Angeles, as did her parents. Her high school had sent a few students to Colorado College, and the feedback received was positive. Artie says it was her lucky day when CC was recommended to her. She arrived in the fall of 1949. There were 1,000 students, and historic Cutler Hall was the administration building. She majored in education. She shared that freshman week was a wonderful experience with many new faces, a new to her campus, interesting programs, and beautiful environs in which she was able to continue her enjoyment of outdoor life and activities. In her words, quote, "The student world was happy, particularly on sneak days, when a professor or two would be hijacked to head to the hills with food and beer." Artie has a long history of loyalty and service to the college. She worked as part of the advancement team for several years when Barbara Yalick, one of her classmates, headed the office. She recalls that running phonathons on campus with volunteer students was satisfying and could be a laugh as the student callers interacted with alums on the other end of the line. She also supervised supportive alumni in the LA area in their fundraising activities. Her volunteer service has included reunion planning, most recently for her 64th reunion, event attendance, serving as a development volunteer, fundraising for the class of 1953 scholarship, participating in the 50-year club, and welcoming classmates into her home. As a longtime resident of Colorado Springs, Artie has contributed to the welfare of the larger community by volunteering and serving on the boards of numerous not-for-profit organizations in the city. Barb Yalick described her as perhaps the most reliable, energetic, dependable, and joyous volunteer she has ever known. In addition, Artie has been described as a spunky lady, which is an honorable moniker, particularly as evidenced by her gold, silver, and bronze medal performances in swimming at the Senior Games in 1992 and 1993. Artie shared that Lloyd E. Warner was a friend of hers who lived across the street, so this award is even more meaningful for her. The Alumni Association is proud to present the Lloyd E. Warner Award to Artie Kensinger.
I remember the last time I was on this stage, which was 65 years ago, receiving my diploma. Graduation was held in show, as well as we had weekly chapel, and it was required, and the student body all sat here and we were in assigned seats. but it was more like homeroom with announcements and a speaker now and then. It was great. This building holds lots of memories. Working at the college was wonderful. You get to interact with faculty, administration, staff, of course, and each other. It was wonderful. We were in Cutler, which is such a special building, and very important office mates. And yes, and I have dear friends from college that we met in Bemis when we were freshmen, and we meet every year. This year we went to St. Augustine, and now we're all great-grandmothers, so it's pretty special, and long time, really long time members. And of course, Lou Warner, what a dear. He was terrific. So winning an award for doing something that I've loved all this time is like pretty astonishing, and thank you so, so much.
Will David Hendrickson, class of 1976, please come forward? The Gresham Riley Award recognizes faculty and staff who have made a significant difference to the Colorado College community through outstanding service, commitment, and accomplishment. The continuing concern for and support of students and alumni demonstrated by such individuals ensure the general well-being and future excellence of the college. These accomplishments exemplify the important contributions made by Gresham Riley, the 10th president of Colorado College, from 1981 to 1992. David visited Colorado College during his senior year at Northeast High School in Oklahoma City. He still remembers his first sighting of Pikes Peak, which was a real thrill as he was a Flatlander. He shared that it may not have been the academic draw of CC that meant the most at the time. He just loved the people he met. He had also been accepted at Yale, and his decision-making process was something along the order of East versus West, city versus mountains, ambition versus a sweet place. When he arrived at graduate school at Johns Hopkins in Baltimore in 1976, David found himself continually making comparisons to the great professors he had had at CC, including his main mentor, Tim Fuller, who had infused in his students the sense that the questions they were taking up were of fundamental importance. In David's words, quote, "My education at CC served me best in providing a model for how to go about teaching when I myself became a teacher. It gave me a sense of how to entertain a hypothesis, probably the best one-sentence depiction of what an education should do for young people. It also afforded ample opportunities to develop my native talents as a writer with detailed and often tough feedback from the professoriate." David has been a teacher at CC since 1983. Among his dearest friends are his colleagues in the political science department. He prizes the wonderful relationships he has had and continues to have with his students. Again, I share his words. "So often I've heard from teachers at big universities that they have little interaction with the undergraduates, as if there were some great wall between them. I felt sad for them. They missed out on the best part of the experience. This is not lecturing to a sea of blank faces, but joining fellow learners and soon-to-be friends in the search for some approximation to the truth. At their best, as active questioners seeking the true state of things and well-equipped with BS detectors, young people are the salvation of the universe. But until you've gained their trust, they're careful about letting you know what they really think. Often the best conversations took place outside of class, dare I say on the golf course, as a fine point of U.S. policy was dissected on the way to the next shot. According to his website, David used to have an excellent record against his students on the links, but of late his fortunes have turned. He does, however, have a hole-in-one on Patty Jewett number 2. This was on your website. Miraculously witnessed by his wife, son, and startled classmates attending their 25th CC reunion. The Alumni Association is proud to present the Gresham Riley Award to David Hendrickson.
Well, thank you so much, Susan. Listening to that, I was really overcome with emotion, thinking back on 35 years of teaching here. And I want to thank so many people who have made my career so rewarding. My family who's here, my wife Clelia, and son Wesley, and daughter Marina, and soon-to-be husband Kyle. My many colleagues, David Finley, a previous recipient of this award. I have to mention Dennis Showalter too, because 2 other speakers have done so. And I feel remiss in not giving him the trifecta. My department meant so much to me. It was really a wonderful department, and we got along so well. We had actually a very diverse range of viewpoints, often argued with one another, but always very civilly. And that was for a professor to have a home like that is just the greatest thing in the world. I mean, it took me a while to kind of get used to the idea of calling Professor Fuller Tim. You know, that was a tough one, but I finally adjusted to that. And yes, the students. As Susan said, that experience of talking with other people who teach at other undergraduate institutions, at R1 universities where they do a lot of research and have graduate students, and they don't even know they're undergraduates. And at CC, you know, you really do get to know the students. And that is such a fantastic experience. And I felt so bad for my colleagues at these other places who didn't have that. They really did miss out on the best thing. I was so thrilled that some of my recent students actually came back for this ceremony, James and Nick. I think I see Kenyon there too. That really does mean a tremendous amount. And it speaks to the quality of the experience that you have in the classroom. I'm often asked, you know, what's your favorite course? And that really is totally dependent upon the students who were in it. So my favorite courses were the ones with the students who talked it up a lot and who were very bright and loved the reading and got after it. And those are the ones I remember the most. It's not so much the topic, but it's that experience in the classroom where you try to figure things out together that makes teaching such a rewarding thing. So thank you so much to Colorado College.
Will Lee Sessions, class of 1986, please come forward? The Spirit of Adventure Award recognizes alumni who exemplify the unique CC experience through a life of intellectual, social, or physical adventure. These attributes are characterized by the late Robert M. Orms, class of 1926, a Colorado College English professor from 1952 to 1973, who was the inaugural award recipient. He was an adventurer of the mind, body, and the spirit that exemplifies much of what is special about the college. Lee grew up in Missouri. When he was young, his parents arranged family vacations in Colorado, where he fell in love with the blue skies, wide vistas, and spectacular scenery of the Rocky Mountains. He applied for early admission to CC, drawn to the smaller classes, the immersive experiences, and the breadth of a liberal arts education offered by the block plan, all close to the outdoors, which he loved. He received his acceptance letter from Dick Wood on February 4th, 1982. He said it was a good thing, as CC was the only place where he applied. Lee was an English major. He shared that he struggled during his first few blocks, particularly with his writing, so he worked with the Writing Center, a class on leadership and creativity with an emphasis on writing, taught by Tom Cronin, not only helped his writing, but also helped to pave a path for his professional work, including career changes along the way. In and out of class, CC expanded his awareness and support of diversity and inclusion. A class on power and powerlessness found him living among the homeless in Denver's Skid Row. He studied Black literature. Philosophical classes included feminist literature. He protested against apartheid and supported LGBTQ rights. His senior thesis was focused around the journey to maturity, using Joseph Campbell's monomyth of separation, initiation, return, to show how one learns from the outer world through travels and trials, including the parallel inner journey where one can't help but learn and change as a result. Lee has embarked upon numerous journeys of discovery. In addition to his successful career at Intel, he epitomizes the spirit of adventure by pursuing his passion through his avocation. His nominator commented that Lee's exuberance and passion for Arctic exploration is a driving force in his life. He is an expert in planning, researching, organizing, and leading canoe expeditions through the remote tundra wilderness of northern Canada and Alaska. Part of his preparation includes drawing upon the research of explorers' narratives and hard-to-find documents. His approach involves understanding and sharing with others the natural and human history of the Arctic and subarctic regions in an effort to preserve wild places still beyond the reach of roads and people. He has opened the hearts and imagination of those who share the lure of unexplored and rarely human-traveled places. Lee says that he has heard that now most of the world has already been explored and mapped, except for the area between our ears. The Alumni Association is proud to present the Spirit of Adventure Award to Lee Sessions.
Wow. Thank you, Susan and the council, and it's great to be back at Colorado College. You know, that flood of memories and you know, remembering the professors and the impact that they had. I dug through the box that was hidden in a closet that I never had unpacked after I left CC. I found some of the professors' papers. Professor Showalter, thank you. Got to do that. You know, and I thought, you know, getting something like this is an honor. It gives you a chance to kind of reflect on all the things that led you to where you are today and those influences that guided you. But I also want to thank my family that exposed me to the great outdoors, my friends Ann, Karen, who's here with me and paddled with me to the Gulf of Mexico on the Mississippi River. She was a great friend, and my brothers are here with their family. And as I thought back on the big themes that have kind of reemerged throughout my life, one of them is the power of relationships, and that's one of the hallmarks of CC, is through these immersive experiences and, you know, the sharing of living and talking and debating together, and this concept of ongoing lifelong learning. So I smiled when Susan says I'm an expert in Arctic canoeing. Well, I've done this for, you know, a number of years. I still feel like I'm a student of Arctic expedition canoeing. There's always something new to learn. Things are always changing. It's always evolving. And I think every day there's a new way to learn. To back up, my professional life is covered in the bulletin. You can find that on LinkedIn. I've had a great career. You can learn more about that in the panel. But a lot of people don't see the richness of what I've done outside of work. The flip side of this is I never met Bob Orms. I think it's really cool that an English professor was so multidimensional and done so many different things with his life. I actually only knew him as the author of the Guide to the Colorado Mountains, because that was my Bible when I was growing up. So, pretty cool. So my earliest memories were when I grew up. I had a stint in Alaska. My heroes were when I moved to Missouri, Davy Crockett and Daniel Boone. I had read Mark Twain. Huckleberry Finn was one of my heroes. I always had it in my mind that I wanted to strike out for the new territory, and I never wanted to be civilized. And that was kind of a very early dream. Along the way, I've had lots of mentors, teachers, friends, and others that have kind of helped me along the way. And that's where these relationships come back again and again to help you fulfill your dreams. And in addition to all the academic things that are so cool, I have to mention also the contributions of your classmates. And one of those was my roommate in college who said, "Hey, dude, you're an English major. You probably ought to find a job when you graduate." And so he encouraged me to go to the Career Center and do a practice interview. So I did that, and then that led to another series of interviews and being put on an airplane and flying out to New York City for interviews with the Pepsi Cola company. At the time, I did not own a shirt, a jacket, a white shirt. I did not have a tie. I didn't have a pair of black shoes. I don't think I had a pair of black socks. So I borrowed everything from him. Luckily, he was the same size as me. And for those of you who knew me then and know me now, I think I was as surprised as anybody that I actually got the job offer. Even more surprised that it was an incredible job offer for a liberal arts grad to go work in this amazing company doing something that was really great. The salary offer was just off the charts. And I turned it down. And when I called the guy to explain why I had to turn that job offer down, he listened and the phone got really quiet and he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I've always wanted to go paddle the Mississippi River. I spent the last 5 summers guiding canoe trips in Minnesota and Canada. I grew up on the banks of the Mississippi River. I want to go do this." And so he got real quiet. And then he said, "When I was your age, I always wanted to do something like that, and I never did. So go do it." And then he said, "The job will be waiting for you when you're done." 6 months later, that was in March or April, and in January I started at Pepsi Cola. I stayed there for a couple of years. I did other stuff at Intel. Along the way, though, I found that I kept my sights going further and further north. The history and culture of the North was something that really struck me. And the Mississippi River was fantastic. It was a great experience. That Karen and I can talk about, paddling in the fog, things that test your relationships. But moving further north, my fascination with the Arctic, the natural history, the human history, it's just so incredible. My first trip was in 1991. I paddled on the Caribou River that ran into Hudson Bay. I saw caribou, muskox, wolves. We got stuck in this incredible thunderstorm on the bank, right near the mouth of the river, sleeping on a sandbar in thunder and lightning while the tide was coming in and the sandbar was disappearing. But that hooked me, and I continued to go back. A couple years later at Intel, I was invited to go on a 30-day expedition. The great thing about Intel is I got 3 weeks of vacation instead of 2 at Pepsi. And I went sheepishly to my boss and I said, "Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to resign." And she looked at me like, "What?" And I said, "No, I'm going to go on this expedition to the Arctic. I really want to do this. This is important to me." And she said, "Oh, you don't even worry about it. We'll work it out," and enable me to go on this 5 weeks vacation to go explore the Arctic. And over the years, it just one thing led to another. And over the time, I've had the incredible opportunity to meet with natives Inuit who moved basically in their lifetime from the Stone Age to the Internet Age. I can see now that in my lifetime there will be roads that will go to the Arctic coast. It's an area that is dramatically affected by climate change. I can't wait to meet Alan. And, you know, they say that the Arctic is the canary in the coal mine for the climate. You just can't imagine the beauty of it all. And the wildlife, the close encounters, being close to thousands of caribou, being very close to bears, being too close to polar bears, having a standoff with a very aggressive polar bear. You know, throughout it all, though, it's just been an incredible learning experience. And now is actually the most amazing time to paddle because we have the benefit of accessible history from the early explorers' journals to more recent accounts, digital maps and all these things. But it's still a very remote place where wind and weather and unforeseen circumstances can cause all kinds of problems. I'm always learning and finding ways to avoid disasters and near misses. We've had our fair number of close encounters. But overall, it's just an incredible place, and whatever adventures you choose to do, I think it's really important that people get exposed to wilderness and they gain that firsthand experience of wild places so that they can ensure that they're there for future generations. So I could go on, but it's just been one of those things where Colorado College and the experience and the relationships and these shared experiences have fueled my imagination, my curiosity, my desire to continue to learn and explore new places. And I'm really humbled to be in the good company of other pioneers and explorers and innovators. So thank you very much.
Please join me in yet another tradition, the singing of our alma mater. Charles Hawley, class of '54, composed this beautiful piece with music professors Earl Uhas and Albert C. The lyrics are in your program. If everyone will please stand and sing along.
To hear their stories, to see where they've come. And if I can just do a quick plug, you know, the Alumni Association relies on nominations. So as you go forth and prosper today, please keep your eyes out and think about other people that deserve any of these awards, because we want to recognize and continue to select some of the incredible stories that have come through here. So that said, will the awardees please remain on stage for photographs prior to heading over to the Cornerstone screening room For everyone else, I really hope that we'll see you all there from 11:30 to 12:30. After that, we have the picnic on the quad at 12:30. And of course, the amazing Freedom and Authority begins at 2 p.m. in Bemis Hall. So we look forward to seeing you at all of these events. Thank you again for coming, and we wish you the happiest of homecomings.